Hi, welcome to another unscripted video by Jay. Well, hello there. I'm back, as you can see. Some things have happened. My ceiling leaked again. I got a pimple. And I blame this jar of jam for all of my problems. It's a no added sugar preservative with fruit pectin and grape juice from Trader Joe's. And I've long suspected that this had contributed to past breakouts. By the way, I have a sweet tooth that activates at nighttime, and I realized that the consequence was just unruly breakouts. My breakouts are somewhat under control now. When they happen, I feel that I have a good set of tools to employ to make sure that they don't stay. But in the past, and I'm talking about even a year ago, I just kind of thought of acne and breakouts as something that happens and something that I didn't really have any control over until I started learning a lot about skincare and preventative measures to prevent acne or breakouts and to treat them once they start without having to do the whole costly dermatology blah blah. So I'm back, by the way, to talk about skincare. I gave myself a couple weeks. I still want to do it. I just want to do it my way. And from all of the restoration work happening in my apartment, I've had to stash away a lot of the skincare I was complaining about last week, only to find that I've run out of skincare. Not really. I just can't find any of it, and now I miss it. Namely, my sunscreen. I just finished one of my last bottles of sunscreen that I kept out, and now I'm having to rummage through my stashed goods to find sunscreens, and I had to wash my face because I trimmed my facial hair, and so now I have to just kind of do my skincare again. So I thought I'd just do my skincare and talk a little bit about this breakout that happened, because it could be of interest to you, especially if you are someone who has food-related triggers for your acne or breakouts. So we can do that now. Sugar is a high glycemic index food, if you even want to call it a food. Sugar is not only processed sugar, but it can refer to fructose as well, which is found in fruits and fruit juices. Did I say fructose or it's fructose, by the way? Fructose, why doesn't that sound like a word? Is it fructose or fructose? Neither sounds right. Anyway, there seems to be some evidence that high glycemic foods, meaning foods that spike your blood sugar, can contribute to acne. And the theory is that increased insulin in the blood can impact sebum production in the skin, because hormonal changes, which insulin is a hormone, can have an impact on sebum production, can contribute to acne. But it seems that there's maybe inconclusive evidence about this, and even the Academy of American Dermatology, is that what they're called? American Academy of Dermatology state that there's not enough data to support food changes or dietary changes as a treatment for acne, which I think is bullshit. I get so annoyed when, I'm sure I'm guilty of this, but people will say there aren't any studies to support this and there are no data. Well, studies are expensive. Collecting data is time consuming. You're a person and you are the best sample out there to determine what the best course of action for your skin is. So if you've observed that changing your diet can have an impact on your skin, you should listen to that and follow that and not be consumed with what people on YouTube or even some other people say. This video is I should never do unscripted videos because I can't stay on one topic. I'm gonna do my skincare. So I thought it would be fun to rummage through some things that I saved for later. These are all the things that I packed in here thinking that when I move, I can just take this with me and not be worried about the items in here spilling because they have twist-on containers. Or they're not opened. And so maybe I'll just do my little midday skincare routine using all of these. I haven't used this in a while. It's the Purito Fermented Complex Boosting Essence, has pH balancing and niacinamide in there. Man, I don't even know at what point I realized sugar was really causing my breakouts, but I feel like it's been at least a couple of years. And despite finding this out, I continued to eat sugar for quite a while until I decided maybe I should cut out processed sugars and just try sticking to maple syrup and things like jam that had no added sugars, but my breakouts persisted. And then last year, when I had two kind of larger abnormal breakouts, which I attributed to acne, I also took additional measures to prevent future breakouts, which I'll talk about in another video, but it ranged from changing my pillowcase every 2 nights to never sweating with sunscreen on, at least in a meaningful way, and changing my diet. But there are other things too. Anyway, I realized that probably anything that was high glycemic, meaning that it's something that spikes your blood sugar, whether that is processed sugars or fruit juice, which is in this little jam jar, I should stay away from those. But fruit on its own with, what am I trying to say? Like if I eat a ton of apples or a banana, that is not considered high glycemic, probably because the amount of fiber that comes in the package. Fiber slows the digestion of nutrients and sugars, meaning that your blood sugar is less likely to spike when you consume fruit. So I eat tons of fruit and never have any issues. But when the first round of this restoration work was happening, I didn't have access to my kitchen as much, and like I said, I have a sweet tooth, and so I still had some jam in these boxes, and I was like, it should be fine now. And I use azelaic acid every night, and I do a very vigilant skincare routine. I could probably eat this, and for a couple of weeks it was fine. And so I was like, maybe this is no longer an issue, and I continued to eat this jam kind of at an alarming rate. It's really good jam. If you don't have problems with breakouts, you should try this. But yeah, eventually this happened, and it was a lot worse a few days ago. Because I know what I need to do in order to prevent the persistence of breakouts, I acted pretty quickly. I'm talking way too much. Let's do my skincare routine. This is a nice toner, but I don't know. All toners kind of, this one's it's an essence, but it has pH balancing. It's not as it's not as viscous as even some of the toners that I use, which is something I really like, that they're really hydrating, like the Isntree one or the Dear Claire's unscented one. This one's not, doesn't have as much glide to it. Probably, yeah. It probably doesn't have as many humectants in here. I don't really know the ingredients off the top of my head. This is going to be a long video. So moral of the story is, if you can't understand what the cause of your breakouts are, and no one's being very helpful for you because of inconclusive data, you could try doing some dietary changes. And the two biggest culprits seem to be dairy and sugar when it comes to acne. You could try eliminating those and see. There's really not much to lose. All the foods I consume are pretty much low glycemic, and for sugar, the best alternative I've found is not stevia, because actually stevia does not taste very good. Maybe it's the kind I have, which is a liquid form, but that tastes like Splenda to me. The best alternative that I've found is erythritol, and that is a naturally occurring sugar-like substance that's found in fruit that activates the sweet sensors on our tongue, but actually don't have any sugar in them and don't spike blood sugar at all. Some people report that it can lead to bloating, but I haven't really experienced that. Of course, everything in moderation, and it's like the best like sweetness that I found from a sugar alternative that mimics sugar. And there's this kind that they sell that has some monk fruit in there, but it's primarily just erythritol. I recommend just buying pure, straight up erythritol, and you can use it as a sugar substitute 1-to-1. I sometimes I'm getting way too much into it, but I make some very interesting concoctions when I have a craving for something sweet, which is like every night. When I have better access to my kitchen, I will make mini little mug cakes. They might be colloquially referred to, but it's basically like you make a cake in the microwave, but in a mug or like a little container. And I put some erythritol in there. And sometimes I just get some peanut butter and just mix erythritol in there. Really feel like I'm exposing myself today. Wow, that was only the first little step. What else do I want to use today? Oh, I haven't used this in a while. I picked this up from Trader Joe's. It's an ultra hydrating gel moisturizer with hyaluronic acid. It also has some green tea extract. I saw this and the sign was partially covered up. So it said, I saw the 0.89. And so I was like, is this really 89 cents? And so I was like, I bought it because I thought it was 89 cents, but it was really $8.89. So that was not, I don't know if I would have, I mean, that's still a good price compared to things like that Neutrogena. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like the hyaluronic acid little gel container thingy. This one is 2.5 fluid ounces. I think that Neutrogena one is 0.7 and sells for twice as much. So this is actually still a good deal. I just probably wouldn't have purchased it because I already had a lot of skincare at the time. I had no use for this, but it's still, I haven't used it in a while, so I'm gonna use it now. Maybe I should show you. Not very good at this. I don't know, so I'm just gonna amp up my hydration and moisture because these dehumidifiers are dehumidifying. So yes, I've been very busy packing up my place. There's quite a lot of things going on right now and I'm still working. So I took another little break last week and it's been really good for me to kind of distance myself a little bit. You know, on Instagram, I just haven't been active at all because I don't know, I just started getting really I don't care about Instagram that much. I don't see the point. That feels nice. Okay, it does burn though slightly, which I don't remember from last time, but I think anytime you're experiencing any kind of burning, it's not necessarily the product. It can just be that the pH of your skin is a little off balance. So I'm not concerned about that, but it doesn't feel great. I'm just gonna keep it simple today, but I'm gonna open up another sunscreen. I haven't used my Hada Labo UV gel in a long, long time, but I feel like now is as good a time as ever to use it. So yeah, I'm never gonna use that gem again, which is what I said a few months ago. I'm never gonna use it again. And seriously, once you've adjusted to just eating a lot of fruit, it starts tasting kind of dessert-like. Sometimes eating just bananas that are well ripened tastes like dessert to me. Is this even interesting to anyone? By the way, I'm keeping track of where's my, oh, of course, I'm filming on my phone. By the way, I'm trying to get a new camera, but I can't decide on which one to get because there's so many options. And for those of you who don't know, I've been using a phone to film like since the beginning of this channel, and it does well, and I feel like it's good enough. And my concern is that I'm gonna spend like $1,000 on a camera or more, and it's not going to be any better than my phone. So my phone films 4K and my phone films 4K with 30 frames per second, and most cameras under $1,000 are the same. But I understand that obviously when you're getting a dedicated camera, well, one, you get a bigger sensor, and sensor size is like almost everything when it comes to image quality and video quality. The sensor can only be so large when you're carrying it in a phone, of course. So if anyone's like really into film and cameras, mirrorless cameras specifically, let me know if you have any suggestions, because I really want something that I can vlog with. So something with stabilization is important to me. And obviously the viewfinder that flips out would be important to me, because if my phone's front camera had as good of a camera as the back camera, I would probably just keep using my phone. But the front camera only can capture 1080p 60 frames per second, I believe. So I would just like something I can see myself with as I walk around, because as some of you know from my last video, I'm planning on moving, and it's gonna be, I'm still kind of trying to think about what I wanna film when I move, but I think I'm very likely going to move in the direction of vlogging. I didn't like the way that sounded when I said that. Maybe not then, actually. Maybe never mind, I've said too much. Excuse me. This was the first Japanese sunscreen that I ever used, I think. Yeah, it was. And I remember really liking the way it smelled. It has more of an alcohol smell than I remember. Look at that. Yeah, I remember this being the first Japanese sunscreen that I used, and I was converted that very first time. Some people have asked about the need of reapplying sunscreen throughout the day. You know what? If you are sitting inside, you're using a stable UV filter like those you'll find in Asian sunscreen or European sunscreens, and then you probably don't need to. I mean, sunscreen will wear off throughout the day due to sweat, and in some cases, like if you're using an unstable UV filter from photo degradation. But like I said, if you're using new generation filters and staying indoors, you don't necessarily need to reapply, assuming that you put on enough in the first place. All right, I gotta wrap this up because my phone does not want to cooperate or do anything correctly today. So, damn it. I don't know what the last thing you heard me say was, but I'm gonna finish off with a spot treatment of Azelaic Acid to help this clear up. You can watch my video on Azelaic Acid if you have questions, but this will also start the process of preventing persistent hyperpigmentation, which I am so prone to post-breakout. Thank you for watching. I'll see you when I see you.